Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about the duality of sex in women. Having sex generates a lot of emotional energy for women, and it's important to know whether that energy is positive or negative. There are two things that women perceive in their minds when it comes to sex. One is pleasure and the other is the opposite emotion, which is psychological wounds. Both pleasure and wounds are felt as the mind processes information about sexuality, and the zest mind uses the information about sexuality as a vehicle to ensure that the emotions felt in the mind are in pursuit of happiness. If a woman's mind is happy, having sex serves to make her happier, and if she has wounds in my mind, it works to repair the wounds. So when a woman is suffering from wounds in her mind, she feels she needs attention and consolation. She feels lonely, she wants to be loved, she wants to meet with someone and talk about her frustrations. This is what moves my mind to engage zest mind, or more precisely, to engage zest mind to heal the wounds. If she receives attention and consolation from a man, she will feel attracted to him by activating her zest mind. If a woman's wound is really big, her zest mind will work even harder, and she will love the person who gives her attention and consolation. In this way, a woman's zest mind energizes her mind to heal her wounds, and if she has no wounds, it enhances her happiness. So in essence, a woman doesn't need sex just to enjoy sex. It's rather that pleasure comes through sex as a side effect of healing her wounds and enhancing her happiness. This is the state of mind of a woman with a healthy zest mind. The attention and consolation of saying, "I see you are hurting," a simple hug, a pat on the back, or holding her hand all activate zest mind in women. Women with healthy psychological condition don't always have a sex drive or are physically ready for sex all the time. For them, sometimes sex is good, sometimes it's not. But what happens when a woman is trying to heal wounds and the person who gives her attention and consolation changes? The object of her feelings of love and happiness also changes. If a husband is only hurting his wife and not healing her wounds, and a man who isn't her husband is giving her attention and consolation, she may develop distorted psychological condition. Women need to understand why their minds work the way they do, so that they don't think, "I finally found true love," or "I finally found a man who truly cares about me," or "this is the man I was meant to be with," when they are actually taken advantage of sexually. Men see these women as nothing more than sexual playthings, and if a woman continues to think that the sexual attention she receives from a man is healing her wounds, the wounds actually grow bigger and bigger, and the moment the wounds cross the threshold, she no longer feels them. In a distorted relationship, the wounds don't heal, they get bigger and bigger, and the wounds are covered up by being sexually attended to and experiencing sensory pleasure. The pleasure of sex then feels like the happiness of life, and a woman's sexuality becomes overly activated for the pleasure of sex, so that no matter who she has sex with, her body is always ready and her sexuality is always activated, so she can have pleasurable sex with anyone. Women are designed to live for their own happiness through activating sexuality by the workings of her mind and zest mind. However, when her sexuality is overly activated, dissociation occurs and she is unable to control the pleasure of sex with mind, and the workings of her zest mind are directed to the partner, not to her own mind, turning her into a sexual plaything. At this point, since the woman is already psychologically disturbed, she mistakes this for happiness, and because she has a tremendous amount of wounds that she doesn't recognize, sometimes the slightest stress triggers all of her wounds to come out at once, causing her to lose her reason and lash out. This is hysteria. Nowadays, many women are exposed to tons of information about sex from a young age, and the age at which hysteria occurs has become much younger. Normally, a woman's healthy mind takes in stress, converts it into wounds, keeps them in my mind until it is healed. And when the wounds are healed, the emotion of happiness is created. However, when a psychological disorder occurs, the woman becomes hysterical, her mind cannot work to protect her anymore. Women need to know how this mind works, how it relates to the workings of my mind, and how sexuality works in duality in women. Without knowing the mechanism behind it, it can unwittingly lead themselves to their own destruction, driven by feelings and thoughts that they recognize as they perceive them in their consciousness. Knowing these basic concepts can help women protect themselves.